It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. 4th of July, meaning bank holiday in US. Anyway, we are ahead of the London Open. My name is Piotr and this is the pre-London Open live market coverage on Light Forex YouTube Global channel. Let's start with risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind trading effects on margin carries a high level of risk may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay, good morning, Mayor. How you doing? Hopefully everything is all right. Yeah, frankly speaking, I have to be frank with you guys. I have to say that I was dead wrong yesterday. I did expect some kind of the volatility, but it was it was, in terms of the volatility, it was poor like hell yesterday. So yeah, what can I say? I cannot move the market, so yeah. All I can say is that I was wrong yesterday. To be honest with you, most probably it's not gonna be better today. It might be even worse today and tomorrow. So careful approach, smaller exposure maybe. I don't know. Anyway, why I think that it's gonna be very long vacations, Mary. Yeah, that's true. Long weekend and summer holiday. Come on, it's a summer holiday. Anyway, there are no fireworks when we are talking about the calendar in terms of the European session. We do have just retail sales out of the EU. So really, there's no good excuse to try to push the market either way, right? Anyway, that's gonna be, in that case, that's gonna be short and sweet and short meeting this morning. Let's start with Nasdaq. I know it's a bank holiday in US. Very interesting situation here, based on a higher time frame, based on the smaller time frame. Anyway, based on the higher time frame, we are almost there, right? We were talking about this trend line when you want to connect to latest two tops, and we are approaching, and that might be touch number 3, right? Also there is a nice similar trend line on a smaller time frame. Haven't seen the reaction actually. We went through, right? There was a bounce and then a rally to the upside. Now either we are going to go towards 8,000 or higher, right? Or we are going to react very, very soon, right? So of course there is no reason to try to discuss with the market when it's doing what it's doing, right? Market may be longer irrational, then we are going to be able to hold the position against the market, so be careful out there. What I'm gonna to look for once the Nasdaq is open again, I think the easiest approach is going to be trying to from long perspective, right? If you are a buyer, so you wanna see the retest of 7,775, 7,750 based on my chart, the green zone over here, right? So we wanna see this type of the price action. There might be some kind of the head and shoulder creation, but what you wanna see a strong move to the upside. So whatever the distance was here is gonna be to the upside, and that's 8,000, right? If you are, in case you are a bear on Nasdaq, then what you want to see, there are two things. The easiest, wrong word. There are no easiest approach to the market. But the easier one is gonna to be simply creation of the possible supply, something similar to the head and shoulders. But you want to see the break of this green box, right? And then you wanna see some rally back, either towards the previous high over here, so move back towards 7,800, or you wanna see a little bit higher levels towards 7,820 for full head and shoulder creation like this, right? So that's the first scenario. The second scenario, a little bit more difficult, I would say, because from my perspective, what I'm gonna to look for, I would like to see the attack here based on the daily chart. I wanna see not only touch to the line, I wanna see few points higher with rejection, right? And how I'm gonna to hunt for this rejection, I'm gonna switch to the lower time frame, and what would be the best thing here would be to move below the trend line, the latest trend line, the fastest over here, right? And then some kind quick retest, but this time, oops, sorry, jeez, too many lines. I'm gonna to make the summer cleaning one day, no worries. All right, and then I'm gonna I would like to see the retest, because this trend line is going to be somewhere here. So then I wanna see the retest, something like this, right? So it's gonna be higher high, it's gonna be stop hunt, but it's gonna be under this fast line, and I will try to take the advantage of this. And going to the smaller time frame, because execution in my case, execution is gonna be on 5 or 1 minute chart, then I wanna see on a smaller time frame here, where we are going to make this show above the trend line from daily. I wanna see double top, where the second top is about a bit above first top, something like this, right? So that's my plan for Nasdaq once it's open again. Now, crude oil. Everything was correct. We read the market correctly. The only problem is that they didn't hit our levels, right? And they moved lower. Now, I still think 58.60, 59.60 as a possible supply, but taking into the consideration current level, right? Taking into the consideration the level here, blue line, 57.60, so another dollar lower, and it's been tested again after the breakdown on Tuesday. It's been retested yesterday, and during the Tokyo session we do have some kind of the rejection. So yeah, I'm going to, of course the crude is not tradable today because of the bank holiday, but I do believe that at some point we are going to see some kind of the spike, stop hunt, because of the Iran, right? Some comments in regards Iran might create the spike, and the spike might eventually create the selling opportunity, right? So I'm still prefer 58.60, 59.60, but if the next week we are going to stay below 57.60, right, I will have to update my bearish scenario. Now we know where the possible supply, so let's have a look where's possible demand, and in that case we are going to adjust this zone, and there we go. That's our possible demand, only below 55, 54, 50. In that case, 1 to 1 it might be the solution. 1 and 1, so we might see still this 58.60 I've been talking about, and it's all about this this trend line we have here, right? So we created trading plan, we created opportunity from the short side. Unfortunately, market didn't hit our levels, right? On the other hand, retest 54.50 and below might create short-term buying opportunity on oil. Okay, so that's how I see oil. Next one is gold. Strong move back above 1,400, right? From intraday perspective, you know where we are. We were discussing a lot yesterday about the gold. There is a new trading range, and we are inside this trading range because of the latest development, because of the move back above 1,400, because of the retest of 1,440, right? We discussed that pullback toward the mid of that range might create buying opportunity. Actually, we tested the mid of that range yesterday, but I would say that the rally of that 50% is not great. So if you are a buyer, I would be very, very careful. Looks like market may want to retest the low, may want to hunt some stops below 1380. Don't forget that we were expecting, or I was expecting 1360 on the gold, and we didn't quite get there. Yet, at least. So 1380 was the low here. So we will see. Anyway, if you are going to check the weekly, you know that 1460 there is a bottom of big supply zone on, as I mentioned, on the weekly chart. So on the other hand, to the downside, we have the demand zone based on the daily, the green line over here, right? And as you can see here, in both cases, eventual stop hunting based on $20 move, either to the upside or to the downside, right, will bring this demand supply from higher levels into play, right? So I would be very careful trying to trade the break to the upside. In that case, I think buying some kind of the bottom, as I mentioned, maybe we are going to hunt for stops below and move back into the range, or selling failures might be the name of the game here on the gold. So buying zone on the gold below 1380 towards 1360, I would say, and possible supply higher towards 1460. So there is like a little bit bigger range in that case, $100 range, right? So it's worth to remember what is going on here. Okay, and quickly, FX majors. Let's have a look what we have. Euro dollar, right? There was no attempt to create swing low yesterday. We have two upper shadows. It doesn't look good, and still, even if you are a bull, based on what we discussed, right? I've mentioned yesterday, it's not the finish of the move to the downside short term. Theoretically we should hit 1250, 1240, if not 1211, 1180, right? So we are talking 1250, 1240 based on the measurement we did over the course of our meetings, and here 1210, 1180, the bottom, that's possible buying zone, right? Supply to the upside, Thursday high, yesterday high, everywhere supply here, and if we are going to hit some stops, then the next level of supply is closer to 1340, 1360, also levels related to the weekly open. So let's have a look from the smaller time frame. Some kind of the consolidation, and today, what I expect today, I do expect some kind of the, you know, few pips to the downside, let's hunt few stops to the downside, let's hunt few stops to the upside. So I do not expect fireworks here. I'm going to monitor the market, but again, I don't think I'm gonna be very active on the market today. So I'm going to still monitor the size of the correction when we are talking about this move to the downside, right? So actually we haven't seen that yet. 1320, that would be eventually the first possible supply, right? It's also related to what we've seen on Tuesday high, so stop hand above. But I may also watch this from this range perspective, right? In that case, if they are going to decide to double that range, that's I'm sorry, that might be a much better selling opportunity on the rally towards 45.60, so closer towards the weekly open, especially it's still possible, and this type of the scenario, as market is trying to hold Monday low, right? Green dotted line here. So it's a still possible scenario, right? Buyers, from the buyer's perspective, okay? This latest weakness over here, right? So 1250, 1240, that's what we discussed. And then again, blue zone based on daily chart, 1210, 1180. Really nothing has changed since our last discussion about the euro dollar. Very similar on the cable, very similar situation on the cable, but here we have few important levels to the downside, because every 10-15 pips, and we were discussing this yesterday, from 2550 down towards 2480, every 10-15 pips there is some kind of the demand based on the either intraday or daily chart, right? So let me briefly talk about these levels. So from daily, what we are talking about from daily, we are talking about this swing low over here, right? But if you were listening to the educational webinars we did in June, right, you know that that's not the great swing low, right? It's there is some kind of unfinished business. So the first level, first zone we want to talk about is 2530, and the low from the 18th of June. In that case, we are talking about the 2505, right? So the quite wide range based on the daily chart. Also, where we stopped yesterday at the top, right? This reversal candle over here. So we are talking about 2555, 2565, right? And check where we had the low yesterday, 57. So there is a possibility market will try to, you know, that's what I've been talking about in regards to euro dollar. A little bit or few pips higher, few pips lower, just hit yesterday low, yesterday high. It might be similar here. What happened during the Tokyo session? We closed the gap in between today's and what happened on Tuesday to the upside, right? So the gap is already closed. So now it's time to at least hunt for some stops to the downside. And as you can see, we are holding the range from yesterday. It might be, you know, a little bit of the lower shadow, a little bit of the higher shadow, few pips here, few pips there, nothing extraordinary. From the intraday perspective on cable, there is a 25.40, 6.45 unfinished business, right? And then everything related to what we discussed to the daily, the whole zone in between 25.32, 25.05. That's how the cable looks like, right? To the upside, because the nature of the day, because New York is closed, and because it's a cable, right? I wouldn't, and of course, because of where we are right now, I'm not in a rush to sell cable. I would like to see spike jump higher towards at least Monday low. In that case, we are talking about the 26.30, right? Cannot be ruled out. I don't believe, but it cannot be ruled out that we will try to retest weekly open. A little bit too high in my opinion. So from the selling perspective, I would like to see the levels above 26, right? So don't be in rush because there are plenty of possible demand, and trying to sell here, trying to chase the market here, easily they can try to trap us. Dollar yen still holding short. I took that short yesterday, but nothing extraordinary. No huge rejection based on this yellow possible supply zone, right? If I'm gonna be stopped, there is a possibility market will try to retest Monday low, weekly open, so the levels above 108 where the real supply is expected, right? Here is based on the intraday, and I've been explaining this. I've been trying to explain this yesterday. Nothing extraordinary, and nothing extraordinary here. I think that I'm not sure if it's going to happen today, tomorrow, but I think we didn't hit the quite low yet here, right? I think the levels below 107.50, that's what we might try to target. So that's the first, and the second, this latest weakness we were from the early we were discussing last time, right? So that's how I see the things on the dollar yen. Aussie dollar above weekly open, and it's looking better and better, right? There is a little bit of the scratch on this beautiful glass. I'm talking about the latest Australian retail sales data was a bit weaker than what market was expecting, right? So that's one of the reasons, and there is some kind of the hesitation, break to the upside, move lower. But overall, just from the based on chart, just from the chart, it looks really good. 70, 30, 70, 50 also from the chart been tested, right? So the data was just excuse, right, to react inside the possible supply. Really we are very close to change medium term direction on Australian dollar, right? So for now, in case you prefer to trade Aussie USD, I think the retest of the 70 level, right? It's just 30 pips. It's possible. Maybe not this week, right? Maybe they want to try to hold over the weekly open, right, till tomorrow. But at least for now, 70 is still possible. That's the weakness we've seen here. Monday, second part of the Monday, this Niagara Fall, right? So I think it's still possible. But also that's what we were discussing yesterday. I think it might be a little bit better to try to find different cross like Aussie Kiwi. Again, they did the same thing during the Tokyo session, so I missed again 0470, 0460, right? Or Euro Aussie, right? Based on what we discussed, what happened on Monday, Tuesday, continuation yesterday, and retesting right now really significant zone 160.50, 160 psychological level. Okay. I'm gonna look and check closer Australian dollar next week. And finally, pound yen. Okay. That's gonna be very interesting, and it might not support pound overall, right? So what we are talking about, yesterday we broke through the latest low, but we managed to get back and close higher, right? We also took out from the intraday perspective latest weakness, so trying to hold above, meaning that higher levels towards 36 possible, but around 36.20 and then again around 36.50 I can see two possible supply zones based on intraday chart. So be very careful, especially when there is a low liquidity. Don't be trapped, guys. That's it from me today. Really very slow market. So maybe if wherever you live, if you have a good weather, maybe it's time to recharge the battery, to enjoy a few free hours. Don't worry, I promise you one thing. Sunday evening, Monday morning, market will be open again. Guys, have a great weekend. It was my pleasure to be with you here another week, right? And enjoy your weekend. See you again here. Light Forex channel, global YouTube. You are more than welcome to join me next week. Have a good one.